So, welcome to the team. This little presentation is for people who have just joined the company, and it just gives a little overview of what to expect and what to look for. These are the topics we're going to be covering. Here, this is all about the company. So, just to give you a little background here. It all started in 2001 with XIT, and that stands for Excellence in Telecommunication. We have abandoned this company a long time ago, but you'll still run into it occasionally, and we may even resurrect it again. In 2006, we actually registered Madison Consulting and Publishing as the umbrella company. So it's an incorporation. It's all nice and legal. Then in 2007 or 8, I think, is when we registered GRAPA and put it underneath the Madison Consulting Company as it's filed as a doing business as. So that would be the commercial name. So there's GRAPA. We also registered the RE Academy. We did not register Telecom Fraud Academy, but there didn't seem to be any need for it. And we may add some more companies as we go. So what you really want to know is, how do I get paid? So payday is every 2 weeks. It goes through Friday or Saturday if you work on Saturday. I do payroll on Monday, and you get paid the following Wednesday. Hours, we round them up or down to the nearest 15 minutes. It's too complicated to deal with 0.12. So, and as I told you, that payroll is done by Bank of America. Actually, it's Intuit who does the actual payroll, but Bank of America sponsors it. They practically pay for the whole thing. And for that nice service, we agreed to have all of our employees do direct deposit to a Bank of America account. All right. Once I set you up in payroll, you're going to get an email from the bank or from Intuit, I'm not sure. And it lets you go in and change your password. And then this is how you go on in the future to check your pay stub and print them. You don't get anything from me. You just get it from the bank. It's all virtual. Okay. Then the way we track time is with time clock. So you have all seen it by now and used it. It's a simple punch in, punch out for lunch, punch back in after lunch, and on your way out the door. So you get half an hour for lunch, and you get 2 15-minute breaks during the day if you wish. And I don't expect you to punch in and out for that. If you have something going on during the day, like one of the employees had some medical issues going on, and they were going to be on the phone for about half hour, 45 minutes on a personal call about that, well, then that person punched in, out, and then in again when they were ready to go back to work. But as a general rule, just punch in out for lunch, and that's about it. I don't know if you've discovered your timesheet. That's what it looks like. It gives you a running total for the pay period. So this pay period here is the current one, which ends on the 19th, Sunday the 19th. So unless somebody works on the weekend, I tally it all up by, on Saturday. And then on Monday, I'm ready to just go onto the website and pop in your hours. Working hours, 7:30 to 3:30. 7 to 3:30. And again, 10 minutes break. I said 15. Okay. we're not really watching breaks all that closely. Okay? Be on time. If you're not going to be on time, I expect to hear from you before 7. So send me a text. It's really not that hard to send a text and saying, I don't know what's going on with traffic. I may be a few minutes late, or I have to turn around. I forgot my computer at home, or something like that. And it's really ridiculously easy to just send a text and you've done your duty. Okay, punctuality. We really want you to be here early enough so that your wheels up at 7 o'clock, so that you're actually ready to work at 7. And we've had some issues with that with the previous crew, so you're actually gonna get a little bonus that we initiated to change this culture of coming late that we had for some time. It's not an issue with the new people, but you're going to get the benefit. So it's a temporary bonus program that we have. It's if you're clocked in by 7:05, no later, then you're considered on time for that day, and you're going to get an extra 50 cents an hour. Right? You forfeit that if you're clocking in at 7:06. So keep that in mind. If you happen to take a day off during the week, then you're considered part-time for that week, just for this program, and then your bonus drops to 25 cents an hour. So it's calculated at the end of the month, not the end of the pay period. And Chris actually sends out an email every day that shows you who's here and what time. And the reason you haven't seen it yet is because she sends it to team@GRAPA-Tel, and you're not on it yet. Bishan will get you all on there on Monday when he's back. And that was the little surprise I had for you. And like I said, it's temporary, okay? But you're going to reap some benefit for a while. Okay, time off. If you're going to need time off, you just need a mental day, or you're going to a concert on Thursday night and you're going to be dead for the rest of the week, officially take time off. So it's just a little email. This is the format that we use, and just send a request to Rob and I, and you'll get a response. So this way, it's everybody knows, yes, I've seen this, yes, I okayed that, and then that gives me a chance to put it into the calendar so that I don't come to Friday morning and go, where the heck is he? So that's when you get around to taking a day off, see me. I'll give you the little sample there.
Do you need to know with that like a certain number of days ahead of time? I mean, obviously,
yes.
I'm not saying like the day before, but do you need to know like a week or two in advance?
As soon as you know.
Okay.
Like if you're now planning for a March wedding and you're going to take a week off, well, might as well put it in writing now, so then you don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
We've got it recorded. Okay? All right. Now, our daily reflections. This is what we do here is we have people put into an email what they've done, what you've done throughout today, and then also what you're going to do tomorrow. So, and we find that actually, it helps you, it makes it real for you. You know that you've accomplished something during the day. And if you have to think about, what do I have to do tomorrow? It helps you organize. It helps you not lose things. It's just a very nice tool. And I do it too. And so let me show you one that I've done. Oh, by the way, let's back up a little here. This is the email that Chris sends every day. Chris, my daughter, she's up in Wisconsin. She does part-time work for us occasionally. So you can see that Gabby was late on that Monday, and for the rest of the 2 weeks, Stephanie was late once, and Casey is consistently late. Okay, so that's just that. Now, yeah, don't say, oh no, what did I just do? I closed down my PowerPoint. Let me open it again. Okay, I was going to show you what these reflection emails look like. All right, here's one of mine. Come on, open. So this is the one from yesterday. So what I accomplished yesterday was I put together the FedEx package and get it shipped off to Pamela. I drove her up to the airport. I discussed venues, Istanbul venues with Ottilia. I talked to Casey about the Toronto venues, and I started working on the paperwork for you guys, putting you guys into the payroll system. So with, driving her up to the airport, that's about all I got done yesterday. And then what I had planned for today is, a bunch of things I couldn't get done yesterday. Now what I do is I sent this out in the evening. So I sent it at 6:48 p.m. You're not here that late, so send it before you leave. But then what I do in the morning is I grab this email and I start the one for today. And so what I did was I copied everything what I said, my plan for Friday. I copied it here, and then I started putting in what I'm actually accomplishing throughout the day, so I don't have this thing in the evening that goes, what did I do today? Okay, and then this being Friday, I also started to make some notes for what I need to get done on Monday. All right, now what's very important is that you always use the same wording in the subject line. So mine say accomplished and the day and date. Now, some people make it daily tasks. I've seen daily report. Just as long as it's consistent, so that when your boss gets this, a rule can be set up that says anything coming in from Heidi that has accomplished in the subject line, put it into this folder. Okay, so then he or she can read that at leisure, and it's not cluttering up the inbox. That's rules in Outlook. We'll get to the rules later. Okay, and I keep that in my draft throughout the day. So now let's go back to this. And we were okay, well, here's another sample. This is my reflections email from last Saturday. I had a very busy Saturday. So Time Doctor. Okay, we have a program that is on your computer, and it lets you track how you spend your time. It's we manage it by projects, so you will have several projects. Like for you would be email ads, event guides, etc. And so when you're working, you go into your Time Doctor and you say, okay, I'm working on the email project, and I'm I'm editing the next far ad. And it keeps track of your time. It also takes periodic snapshots of your desktop, and it spits out a periodic report on usage of apps, and so if for you, for a sub-area, it would make sense to be on the internet quite a bit, doing research on, hardware, software, things like that. For you guys, it would make sense to show a lot of time logged on Adobe Photoshop, for example. So it's you'll find it's a tool that'll help you to stay focused on your tasks, and again, to know what you're working on and how long things take. The problem we have as people is that we tend to underestimate how long things take. So if you're watching certain tasks for a while, and you know that it takes 2 hours to create one email ad, then when the boss says, okay, you got half an hour, get that ad put together, you can go back and say, that's not reasonable. It's going to take me a couple hours. Okay, so that's what this program is for. And this is a good time to say, please don't download anything that's illegal. We are being sued for one of our employees downloaded some stupid movie over BitTorrent, and so we now have a legal suit on our hands. So be careful with what you download. All right. I mean, I'm sure you've already been drilled in marketing about not using any pictures that we haven't paid for. Okay, well, let's not use anything else that we haven't paid for. Here's a sample of what you'll see on the Time Doctor. So this would be for, who's that for? I guess I cut off who that was for. But this person worked on marketing support from 7:30 until 8:09, doing email ad prep. Then from 8:09 to 8:50, event guide development. Also again on the marketing support, housekeeping. You know what? I think this is mine. That certainly looks like mine. But you can see where the time goes, and it tells you where your emphasis is during the day. Okay? All right, Skype. Skype is what we use to communicate in-house and off-site. So I believe your computer is configured so Skype will start and show you as available as soon as you log in the morning. You can, it's very easy to move files through Skype. Sometimes they go a lot faster and a lot easier than if you're emailing them. Not always. So, but it's a great way to chat with the people in this building here and the other employees. And we also use it to contact clients. Our salespeople use it to call people, to call customers, and none of you here will have a need to call phone lines, but if you ever do, we'll assign credit funds, money to your account. We have I pay for it periodically, and we just allocate funds to people, and when it runs low, it just automatically updates it. So that's Skype. Now, Outlook, this is the hard one. Outlook is a great program, but it's very involved, and I'm actually going to want you to take some of the online lessons eventually, but I'm just going to give you a very brief rundown on what all you can do. So, appointments. Let me demo one here. How do I? Okay. Going into Outlook, and this is what my Outlook looks like. I have the little icons on the bottom. That makes sense for me. I don't like to clutter up things. So in order to set up an appointment, I go to my calendar, which is this little icon. And now I'm going to make a new appointment. Now the difference between an appointment and a meeting, here's where you set up for a new meeting, is that the new meeting automatically, let's open one, automatically comes with a to line right here, because it will send the meeting to people's email addresses to invite them. All right, so let me go back to the appointment, because I use appointments a lot just as reminders for myself, because it'll give me a nice little alert when the time comes. So let's say this is for a call with Rob, and it's going to be next week on Monday. And it'll be 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Nope, that's not going to work. We're going to have to make it 8 o'clock in the morning for us, and it'll be over Skype, and it will be can't spell here. And it will be, I'm going to write down the date, even though I'm going to log in the date. I've got it here, Monday the 20th, 8 a.m. I'm going to write this on here anyway, because sometimes between the time zones, you want to make it clear what you're talking about. So it's going to be Monday, 10:20, 8 a.m. And it's going to be 3 p.m. in in Cape Town. Okay, so then this is an all hands meeting. Jeez. All hands meeting. Ads. So here is where you put all of the details for the meeting, and now I set this up as an appointment, and now I changed my mind, and I want to invite some people to this. So I say invite attendees, and now I'm going to put Rob and Heidi. Come on. Heidi. And etc. So I'm going to put all the people here that are invited to this meeting. The other thing I can do is 15 minutes isn't enough time for me. I'm going to need 1 hour reminder. And I'm also going to use some color here. If you pull it out a little bigger, you can use categories. And so I'm going to make mine red, which I assign to be hot. It's going to show up, that appointment is going to show up red in my calendar, nobody else's. So the categories are just mine. And I would say send now, but I'm not going to. Well, let's take Rob out of there. We don't want to bother him. So I'll say send, and it will put it automatically into my calendar, and here it is. Okay? So keep your subject line short and to the point. Like, you don't want to say here, Monday morning conference call with, because by the time you get to the with, you'll never see it here. Okay? Keep it short and meaningful so you know what this appointment is about. Okay, then what was the next thing? That's appointments. One more thing. Outlook will convert to your local time. So Rob being in Cape Town, when I make this appointment for 8 a.m. my time, he will get it as 3 p.m. for him. So Outlook does that. Okay? Yeah. So when you're setting up an appointment that you're not involved in, let's say it's between Pamela and Rob, you still want to use your time zone, not Pamela's. She's an hour ahead. When you send it out, it'll automatically do that. So that's a very nice feature. Here's a sample. We just went through that. Email folders. Okay, this is where it gets really hairy. All of your emails come down into your inbox. Once you set up other email accounts like a Gmail, they'll all come down into your inbox. We don't want emails to stay in your inbox. You process those, get them out of there. So the way, let's see, curve, blah, blah, blah. All right. Let me show you mine again. Okay, so I have my inbox here, and my Gmail box is right under it. And then I have set up a folder at a high level, on the same level as the email, actually called email. And then under that, I have subfolders. So my permanent subfolders are the ones with the numbers, and I like numbering my folders so that they appear in the order that I want to see them in. And then also the fact that these are numbered means that if I create ad hoc folders, they'll go underneath and they'll just stay on the bottom. So right now I have 4 ad hoc folders. The India visa folder I just created recently while I was working with the consulate to get the visa for Rob, and right now I've got one to throw in all of the research material for an Istanbul venue. So these folders I create and delete lots. Okay, but those are the ones with the numbers are my permanent ones. I also have way at the bottom, I have a folder called Stuff, and that's optional. I put in there advertisements and newsletters and just stuff that's totally not important, and I don't even want to see it unless I have time to go through it. So what you want to do is you want to create your email folder, and then you want to create some subfolders that make sense for your job. Now, I mean, these are mine, so they would not be applicable for you. You would probably have, you might have events. Okay, so I have current events here, and I'm listing all of the events that are upcoming, and everything to do with those events goes into one of these folders. So your advertisements you might just want to have a folder for specific events that you're working on. Okay. I also have a folder here called Hot, and this is where I put the stuff from my inbox that is that I can't really file away. I may not want to file away. I may have to take some action on it before I can file it. So, and I'm color coding them. And you can set up a folder so that it organizes by category. So these are the 2 emails in my hot folder that I have to take care of now. I have one here that's pending. I'm waiting for somebody else to give me something in order to move ahead. So the categories you can set up here. If you go to all categories, oh come on, I don't want it to apply to this. Cancel. Let me just, let's grab this. Categories. If I go to all categories, I can create new ones. I can go, all right, give me a new one and let me pick a color. And I'm going to call this one new stuff. There, now I have a category called new stuff, and I have just assigned that. Well, I thought I assigned that to it. Ah, okay. And since I have this folder set up to organize by categories, it dropped it to the bottom here into my new stuff category. All right. So back to PowerPoint. Create subfolders. Okay, file your emails in the appropriate folders. If there's an email that you're sending out that you want to make sure you keep a copy of it, send a copy, blind copy to yourself. That's the easiest. That's how I do it. That's the easiest way. Then I have a physical copy of the email, because you don't want to rely on your sent folder. Your sent folder gets huge. As a matter of fact, I tend to clean mine out quite frequently, actually, relatively speaking. Let's see, where's my sent items? Okay, let's see how old my sent items are. Okay, they go back to January. But I have seen people with 12 years of sent files, and that gets really out of hand. And while we're here, let's look at my deleted items. I don't keep more than 2 weeks. So I sort mine by date, and then if I have something that says 3 weeks ago, I right click and just delete the whole thing. All right, let's see. Email folders, number 2. Okay, don't depend on your sent file. You should purge it periodically. Unread feature, you know, where something gets bold because it's unread. Don't rely on that to tell you that it needs action. I have seen that many times before. Use the feature as it's intended. If it's bold, you haven't read it, so read it and then process it. Do something. Delete it. File it. Something. And if you have an email that has something very important in it, for example, it's an attachment of a contract with somebody, don't just leave it in your email folders. Put it into your all files, your permanent files. So if it's an attachment, it's easy, just save as. If you want to save the whole email, print it to a PDF, and then you can save it. You don't want to save the email itself. It's very hard to retrieve those later. It's just easier if you just make a PDF of it. Okay. A sample of my email folders. Let's see, let me show you my inbox right now to show you that it's really possible not to have a whole lot in your inbox. By the way, this is garbage, so I'm just going to delete that for now. All of these I have to actually take some action on, except for this. This is advertising, so I'm going to take this as an opportunity to show you what to do with rules. So I do want to keep it. I don't want to unsubscribe from it, but I don't want to see it in my inbox ever. So I'm going to set up a rule. So you right click, go down to rules, create a rule. So I'm going to say whenever I get an email from my habit, then I'm not going to worry about the subject line. That's going to change every time, and I don't know who else wants to see this, but I want it then to move to my folder that I created that's called advertisements. So anything coming from them, put it into advertisements. I click OK, and then it asks me if I want to run this now, and I say yes. And there it went. It's no longer there. It's now in my advertisement folder, and I can look at it later and delete it or do whatever. So these guys are what I actually have to do. The reason these are red is because they're overdue. And what makes them red is the flags. So I like using flags for very important things, because it really makes them stick out for me, and the fact that they turn red if I don't take care of it. And the other thing the flags do, it's they will show up in your task list as stuff you really got to do, regardless of what folder they're in. Okay. Let's see. Probably jumping ahead a little bit here. Using colors. Okay, I just showed you about the colors, how to create them. It's a very nice way to keep things organized. And here is how to use the flags. We just went over that. Rules, we just went over. So you want to use the rules for emails that you get a lot of. I mean, if it's just a one-off, once in a while, don't bother with a rule. But if it's something, let's say you get a daily report about new leads coming in. Well, you don't want them in your inbox, because then you have to make a daily decision. Do I read this now? Where do I file this? Just set up a rule to put it into the folder where it's gonna be. Done. All right, junk mail. Okay. I really want you to check your junk mail folder frequently. Let's see, your junk mail folder is down here, and it will turn bold if there's a message in there. And for me, it's a lot easier to look at 1 or 2 or 10 and decide, yeah, they really are junk mail, and then just empty the folder. You right click, empty the folder, and then you don't have to worry about it. I do it every time I happen to see that it's bold, but I would suggest at least once a day look at it, because if you wait for a month, you're talking about a huge project, trying to go through there and making sure that you're not missing important emails, because they do go in there periodically. And now I deleted it already. You will find that even GRAPA-Admin email goes in there ever so often, and then what you want to do is you want to right click on it. Let's see, can I? Yeah, I don't have one in here now. I was too quick with deleting them. But what you do is you right click on the message in the junk folder, in the junk mail, and it will give you a drop down box, and you can select not junk. That will automatically put it into your email, then into your inbox. Or there are some other options that you can use. Also, if it goes the other way around too, if you have something in your email folder that is obviously junk and you don't ever want to see it again, right click on it and select block this sender. You can't always unsubscribe most of this junk mail doesn't give you an option to unsubscribe like reputable companies do. So that's really your only option, is block the sender, and then it just goes into your junk mail folder from now on. Let's see. Okay, we went over that. Email etiquette. Okay. Your email is a permanent record. It represents GRAPA. So you may fire off an email very quickly, but there are people who hang on to emails, and I have had clients send forward an email that we sent them 3-4 years ago saying, this is what you promised me, and expect us to make good on it. So don't think, remember that it is a permanent record. So also remember that most of our customers are non-English speakers. So you got to be careful how you word it. Use proper grammar, use short sentences. Some people have a tendency to have these paragraph long sentences, and a non-English speaker will get lost. Absolutely. Stay away from colloquialism. So like baseball terms are lost on people overseas. Like up to bat and things like that. You guys is like totally Chicagoism. That is nowhere is that ever proper, especially nowadays in the non-gender specific realm. It's just, you guys is wrong always. Okay. Don't use capitals. You probably know that from texting. Capitals is a shout. That's rude. Always use a subject line. Make it mean something, so that when people are scanning through their emails, they know what your email is going to be about. Keep the message thread intact. The message thread is all the emails that went beforehand. It's a lot easier for a client to scroll down and see, that's what this was about. That's right, I did ask them for. Rather than having this email to come from GRAPA that is like out of the blue. Okay, so keep the message thread intact, unless this thing is already a year long, and it could use a new subject line by now. But that's rarely going to happen. There is a high priority option in Outlook. Don't use it. I mean, it's highly ineffective. It just puts an exclamation point on the message, and it's like, yeah, so what? I get them, and I don't pay attention to that. There's also a function where you can request a read or a delivered receipt, where you get a message back that this person has actually read the email. Don't use that. It's insulting, it's annoying. The only times we use it is if we really, really need to know that they have read it because they requested something and we keep sending it over and over, and so we want to know when they actually finally do get it. But it's something between them and us, and it's not a standard thing. Emoticons, not appropriate usually, unless you're very comfortable with that person and nobody else is copied, and they're just not right on a business email. There's also a feature of recalling a message. Don't do that. Once you hit send, it's gone, and when you say, okay, recall that message, the person you sent it to will know that you're trying to recall it, and will probably read it before they even see the recall message. And so it's just, then they go, why? You know, if you made a mistake, it's a lot easier just to send a little message. Sorry, this one went to you by mistake. I hit the wrong button or whatever. Carbon copies, CCs in an email, be very careful with that. If you have an opportunity to send an email to several, let's say all the students from this one class, don't do that. Don't put them into the CCs, because you don't want to give people from one company email addresses from people in another company. What you do is you address it to yourself or to somebody here at GRAPA and blind copy those people. Then you can just send one email and then it's okay. And most of all, read your emails before you send them. I always do, and invariably I catch these little mistakes where I say and, or I skip a word, or I just slipped and it's turned into something that's not even legible. So do read your emails. So that's, actually there is a lot more to email etiquette, but that's plenty now. You may have already gotten familiar with our knowledge base. We just recently started it and we're building on it. So you can go to grapaemail.us, scroll down to the bottom and go to KB list, and it will have tutorials for all sorts of things. And hopefully it'll get nice and big and we'll have everything you might need in the future. And all right, so one more topic, file management. You may or may not agree with how we do file management, but it's it's proven over the years to work. But you gotta actually comply with it in order for it to work. So there's three places where we keep files. One is in our files on your computer. The other one is on what we call the Athens library. It's not actually on a computer called Athens. But it used to be a long time ago. So we still call it the Athens library. And your desktop. So this is my all files. The reason we use all files as the one folder where we keep all of the data rather than my documents is because all files gets backed up every day. So you will never lose your data. And let me see. Let's go to a real sample. All right. This is my C drive. So all files is at the highest level right under the C drive. And then it has subfolders. Now I am a very visual person, so I use icons to help me, very quickly go through this. And again, I use numbers in order for my files to come in the order that I want to see them in. And then, so you create, under all files, you will create subfolders that make sense for what you do. I have one, well, I have a current one that has all sorts of work in progress and things that I need quickly, like logos and things like that. They're in my current folder. And then my events folder, it has the events that we're currently working on. And in them, it has the invoices we created, student documentation. This was an online, so there's no venue here, but for Cape Town, I have logistics. I have the venue where we're holding it, etc. So this all goes here. Once we're done with an event, it gets transferred to Athens library. So whatever's here, you will then find that on Athens. So create your all files in a way that makes sense to you, so you can find things. And so that's all files. All right, so it's at the highest level, as I said, right under your C drive. So create some major categories for your jobs, and then put subfolders under that. All files is backed up daily. Please don't use my documents. Then we have the Athens library. And you might have gotten a little bit familiar with that already. So let me go back to my computer. I'm going to close my local disk and I'm going to go to Athens. And here are the files that are on Athens. So again, with the numbers. And so there is one folder for operations for the event folders, and in it we have the current ones that we're working on, and we have the archived ones by year. And then there is the marketing folder, and in it we have marketing well, that's just about everything you could possibly need in marketing. So the images, the templates, etc. And I am not sure what the marketing staging is. And then we have slides, classwork, Adobe Connect, eFront, just a little bit of everything. So everybody has a folder here and can keep their stuff here. So that's Athens. So very important for you to know that don't ever work in the Athens library. Don't overwrite anything. Don't delete anything. Just go get the stuff you need, put it onto your computer, work on it there. Put the finished file up, but don't overwrite anything. Rename the folder. Every time you put something, every time you touch a file, you should change the date and put your initials on it. This is how we keep version control too. Yeah, don't work directly in the library. It's not only does it cause problems, but when you're going over the LAN from your computer to another computer, it gets pretty slow. So if you bring it down to your computer, it's going to be a much faster then. So normally what you would do is you would grab the files from Athens, bring them to your computer, work on them. Your finished product, you name it properly, put it in the library, and then you clear the stuff out of your computer. There's no point in you keeping old interim files, working files, unless it's something you're going to use again. just delete it. All right. And then one last thing, your desktop. I have seen desktops where you can't even see the picture in the back. It's so cluttered with folders and files, and keep it clear because everything on your desktop is in memory. So if you have a gigabyte worth of stuff on your desktop, it will slow down your computer considerably. Besides that, you're always going to be hunting for things because they're just thrown on there. This is a copy of my desktop. You can see that I have the garbage can, my computer, and one folder for current stuff. That's it. So, and then the exception is if I have a current project, I will create a folder on my desktop saying working file or the Istanbul project or something like that, and everything that I'm currently working on goes in there. But I only do this when it's a short-term project, like maybe a day or two, and then I'll delete the whole thing. Another thing you can do is, in order to keep this simple and keep it clear, is you can create a working file folder in your all files and then put a shortcut to it to your desktop. This way your files are in all files, they get backed up every night, and yet you're not cluttering up your desktop. So let's see, you do this. Let's see if I can demo that real quick. You right click on your desktop, you go to New, Shortcut, and then you browse to, let's see, where's my stuff? My computer, local disk, all files, and I know I threw some working files in here just recently. Here, let's say I want this one. Next. Finish. So now I have a shortcut here, and I can access those files very, very quickly. So that's another way to do this. So if you're working on a project that's going to be more than a day or two, use that method. Okay, and that's it. So now the only thing left is the naming convention. In order for us to manage files properly, it's very, very important that you always change the name of a file before you put it back. So we would always want you to have today's date and your initials at the back of each file. So here's an example. So this is for the online FAR class for the rotators. So I put 10/13/14 as the date and my initials. Make them lowercase, they'll be easier to read. And that's all there is. And thank you for sticking with me through this.